welcome to Let's Talk. I am super excited tonight. You guys are in for a special treat with some of my coaching friends that are going to come on here. You know, one of my favorite parts about coaching is I get to meet people from all over the world. And Amber and Dave are pretty amazing. And lean in and don't worry if you miss something, this is recorded and you can come back and listen to it again and if you didn't jot it down. So welcome, Amber and Dave. I'm super excited to hear you guys tonight and to hear your stories and to see what you are sharing all about metabolic reset and the metabolic project.
Awesome. Thanks, Amy. Thanks for having us on. Both Dave and I are coming in from Utah, so it's
That's my favorite. I'm in Pennsylvania and you guys are in Utah, and I get to meet you through coaching. It's just such a beautiful gift.
It's always fun to be with your smile. So thank you.
Thank you.
We're
yeah,
coming from Utah, the snow capital of the world without any snow. So
it was 68 degrees today down by me, Dave, but
I'm
maybe a
up in
little
the
better.
mountains and it was 57.
Yes.
That's just crazy.
I love it. Well, we are so excited to be talking a little bit about metabolic health, like leveling up. And, I hear this a lot, Dave. I don't know if you hear this too, that people are starting to say, I'm starting to get it. I'm starting to think about my metabolic health, but I still like need more. Have you been hearing that as well?
Well, I was one of those just a few weeks ago. And thank goodness for you and Jared, who have been filling my mind with clarity. So thank you, thank you. And I'm being honest about this because I was one of those that said, I get the importance. I don't get all the this and the leucine and the isoleucine and the valine. And I was just in that kind of a space. And it's so wonderful just to learn a few simple things that help make this more clear. So, yeah,
100%.
see if we can't help a few people to not get there.
I agree. And do you need to know every single thing or memorize every single thing we're going to go over tonight to be healthy? Not necessarily, no. But, I think that there is some value in understanding what's going on within our bodies or what we can do, like what choices we can make and why we're making those choices. Because I don't know about you, but I also have clients that are like, okay, you're telling me to eat the feelings, you're telling me to create muscle protein synthesis, and I believe you and everything, but I don't know why.
Well, I've got a good reason, Amber. Just take a look at this picture on the other side of the screen. I'm sorry for laughing, but I have to because there was a time when I'm 260 pounds in this left picture, and I had anesthetized my feelings so that I didn't see it. And we can just get like that. We're just a little bit of resistance. We don't, it's so obvious. We don't want somebody pointing it out to us, and we don't really want to deal with it because we're so busy. I was traveling the world, speaking all over and writing books and coaching thousands of clients and doing lots of wonderful things to help people, everybody except for me. And it just about got me. Yeah, that's when it starts to get important. Yeah.
I agree. And I think that a lot of us, when we've been in that place, I over 20 years ago was overweight, high cholesterol, a lot of things just like going in the wrong direction, even though I was in my 20s. And it was a wake up call for me because those were some of the like warnings. It's like the warning light coming on. We're going to talk about the car analogy here in a little bit, but I had the warning lights coming on. I was tired and the high cholesterol, and it was just like it didn't feel like myself. And I think a lot of people can relate to that, even if their actual blood work numbers aren't showing anything yet. So let's talk a little bit about the car analogy, Dave.
Okay. I was trying to think of something to have the average person like me. I'm kind of simple-minded. How can we understand the importance of metabolic health relating to something we all know something about. And I'm kind of a car guy, so we're going to use cars. We all have one. I just want you to think about your car for a moment. It carries you around, right? It carries you where you want to go. And hopefully we wash it occasionally so it looks nice. And we vacuum out the upholstery, whether it's leather or fabric. We make that all look nice. And we might occasionally polish it, wax it. We might have put a clear bra on the front of it or some kind of protective film or a ceramic coating, all of these external things. We might have really shiny rims, chrome rims and fancy tires, etc. Then there's another piece to this. If we go to that next slide, we all fuel our car. Now we have an electric car and fuel cars. An electric car, you plug in the electricity and it can be a 240 or a 110, 220, 240. When you're with it charges at twice the speed as it does with a 110. It just takes forever. And sometimes we're fueling our bodies with 110 versus the 220 it needs. If it's gasoline or diesel, particularly gasoline, what octane does your body need? Is it a 91 octane body or is it an 88 octane body or an 85 octane body? And are we putting 85 octane in a 91 octane body? Just you're going, you're already taking me over the edge. Yeah, just think about that. The fueling we put in it. We don't know the problems until the car starts to putter, backfire, gets sluggish, or the check engine light comes on. And then we go to that next slide, Chris, and we're under the hood doing some work. You see, we wash it, wax it, vacuum it, but all the time we're driving it, there's something going on inside that makes that all possible. Just think about that in terms of your body. Fuel filter, air filter, oil filter, transmission fluid, engine oil, um, water in the radiator, um, brake pads and brake rotors. You start to get the picture? So many things going on inside. What I thought about was this. How would we treat our car differently if we only got one and it had to last us a lifetime? What would we do differently? Because if we treat it the most way most people treat their cars, like, well, I'll drive it 3 or 4 years and I'll trade it in and get a new one. So it wears out, then I don't have to worry about it. But if it was your only car, how might you treat those brake pads, slamming on the brakes and accelerating too fast or taking sharp corners and wearing out tires? What would you do differently if you only had one? Because obviously we only have body, one body. And metabolic health challenges us to get really serious, to move beyond bathing, putting on makeup, right? Putting on nice clothes, shining in in a fancy evening, to really caring about what's going on in the mechanism of our body. Is it getting the fueling that it needs? I know that when I weighed 260 pounds, something happened. It was early COVID, and all of a sudden I developed a really sharp pain in my left calf. Now, I was a linebacker in college. I've got a pretty high pain threshold. But it was excruciating. I finally said to my sweetheart, I said, we need to go to the emergency room. I got to make sure we're okay. Well, we went in, and I wasn't thinking. Ramona stayed in the waiting room, and I went in there, and she couldn't come in. He's going through all the tests, and I said to the doctor, I said, um, we just finished a CT scan. I had a bilateral pulmonary emboli, blood clots in my lungs from a deep vein thrombosis, a blood clot in my left calf. And I said, Doc, I hesitated to come in because I've got a high pay threshold and I don't want to be a wimp. And he said, Dave, people die from this. I went, oh, okay. I get admitted. My wife still can't see me. I have to be there 24 hours to prove I don't have COVID. And at 3 o'clock at night, whew, the nurse came in, kind of panicked, started adjusting the oxygen levels, and said, what's going on? She said, we're just having a little hard time holding your oxygen level. I thought, well, that's interesting. She left. I don't catastrophize, so I had to let it go. But 30 minutes later, she came back again, doing it a second time. Then she left. And I had the thought for a moment, people die from this. You hear about people dying from COVID as from lung problems. I could die right here and not see my sweetheart. We've been married like 47 years at the time. It'll be 51 this February. I can't imagine that moment. And some people did from COVID. I came back out of that with an entirely different vision of what's going on inside my body. We found out why I had a deep vein thrombosis. I needed more fluid, more water. We could also say that the visceral fat in my belly, in between my organs, was squeezing off the vasculature, the blood flow. That's true of my calf as well. It's going to happen eventually. If we don't take care of what's on the inside, it is going to wear out. And we're going to find that metabolic dysfunction, blood pressure increases, blood sugar that's elevated, cholesterol that's out of balance, that low density lipoproteins, that LDL, that bad cholesterol that carries the fat in our body is too high. The HDL, the good cholesterol that carries the LDL out of our body, is too low. That visceral fat in our organs is too high. The subcutaneous fat in our body is not at a healthy level. And we get to that point and we're on a medication for blood pressure, which doesn't cure the problem, it just lowers the pressure. We're in a disease state. That's a check engine light. That means damage has already occurred. And the bottom line is this, nothing else is said tonight. We can claim that what we do reverses that damage. That's quite a mouthful, including type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, cholesterol issues. That's quite miraculous because, Amber, I have an absolute testimonial of what this has done to my body and my health and my relationship with my sweetheart and my children. But what's even more exciting, the deeper we dig into what's really in the fuelings, the power of the community, what's in the habits of health, just validates again and again and again why this is happening. This isn't a mistake. This isn't a placebo. This is a scientific fact. And it's incredible to be a part of a program where that's true.
Yeah, Dave, I think it's easy for us to just go throughout our day, to be driving our car, not thinking about what's going in there, to be fueling our body, eating whatever's in front of us, not thinking about what's going on inside. That I think that that's really common. I think there's a saying that people spend more planning on their vacation than planning their life. We just get into those cycles where we're just surviving day to day, wake up, go to work, come home, eat, go to bed, repeat. And when we can take some time, take your car in and get the diagnostics done, have somebody who knows what's going on. And it's the same thing, like having a health coach and somebody who's saying, hey, get that metabolic scale, step on it. Let's see what the numbers say. Let's plan our life so that we have a program that's moving you in the right direction because only get one body, to your point, Dave.
Yeah. We're going to spend a little time tonight, Amber, just on a couple, three things that you may want to just put in the back of your mind, just so you know them. You go back and watch this recording. We've got some slides to help you with. Just some basic, correct principles that drive these fuelings. Would it be helpful if we had just a few of those things? Let's take a look at this. Isn't it amazing, Amber? Doesn't matter whether you're eating a bar, having a pancake, drinking a shake, having mashed potatoes, ziti, whatever it might be. This is the formula.
Yeah, a
40%.
lot of people think, Dave, oh, well, we're just lowering our calories and I could probably just look at a label and try to just get less calories and then everything will be great. And they're
Yeah.
not understanding the science underneath it, right?
Science is really clear. This is a perfect macro. 40% protein, 40% low glycemic carbs, 20% healthy fat, 110 calories, vitamins, minerals, and probiotics. Pick your fueling. You get the same thing every time. But I've been a while since I had the peanut butter and chocolate chip bar. I had one of those today while I was driving in the car. Oh man, this is too good to be this good. But I know that it's exactly the same as the shake I had this morning. Same macros. So we don't have to do the prep work. Anybody here ever done a slice and dice grocery store version of 40-40-20?
I have in fact done it, Dave, and it was like a part-time job. Like I am not gonna lie. I was like, I had all these papers on my fridge and writing everything down. And yeah, I mean, it's serious. You got to be serious.
Ramon and I did it was Sunday night prep. Prep, 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 prep. So you got it throughout the week. And the results, frankly, didn't quite match the efforts. Because it was really hard to match this perfect macro for the body. Bottom line is, with the fuelings, you get everything nutrition-wise that your body needs. Everything that it needs. 5 fuelings a day plus your lean and green and your EAAs, which we'll talk about in a minute. We take that process together, everything the body needs, all the nutrition, but not enough calories. Calories are not equal. They're not equal. You can take really crappy calories. Oh, I need more calories. No, you don't need more nutrition. And if you don't have enough calories, then the body is going to consume the free calories, carbs. Then it's going to start to consume the glycogen, the stored carbs. And those are like 3 parts water to 1 part carb, right? The glycogen. And then it's going to start eating the fat in the body. For every pound it consumes, 3,500 calories released. It's actually energizing to be on a low calorie diet when your body's getting all the nutrition that it needs. Wow,
Yeah,
that's
some
science.
people don't realize that most people who are doing one of our eating plans are getting more nutrition in that low calorie than they're typically getting with double the calories because their calories are empty.
I love Jared. We spent some time privately together getting tutored by him. And I said, well, oh, how about those protein chips? And oh, thank you. Great timing. he, he said, first of all, look at the protein, add a 0. And if the carbs are more than that, they're probably bad carbs. And also, they're going to dust it with really low quality protein just to claim their protein. Tell them about this rule of thumb, Amber. This is brilliant.
Yeah, this is just like a little trick. I mean, nothing's perfect, but if you look at the protein, like this is a little label here, over here, of our Optavia pancakes, okay? And so they're 100 calories and the protein is 13 grams. So take the protein grams and add a zero, so 130. If the calories are about that or less, that's a great protein option right there. You're getting a good amount of protein from that item. And the pancakes, they're just blowing that out of the water. 100 calories with 13
Mm.
grams of protein. Holy cow.
And delicious. And you go to my favorite pancake place from the past, and you have one of those pancakes, they're probably 300 calories and 2 grams of protein. It's sad.
Yeah, if you're lucky, it's got 2 grams of protein. If they made it with some eggs and milk.
So, Amber, why do people chase protein?
Yeah, a lot of people have heard this. I think that that's a common thing where they hear like, "Oh, I'm supposed to eat more protein and I got to count my protein in my whole day." And but they're like, "Why are we doing this?" And so there's a lot of reasons to chase protein. One of them is you feel more full. If there's a higher satiety level when you eat protein and fiber, but a higher satiety, that means that you're not going to be as hungry to eat other stuff, right? Then higher thermic effect of food. So that just means that it takes your body like more energy to break down protein in your stomach than it does for carbohydrates and fat. So that's a good thing to eat more protein so that your body's like going to work, it's burning it up, it's digesting it. So that's another reason right there. And then when you eat more protein, then you are protecting and growing your muscle. So here's a little picture to the left of me. And so your muscle is made up of protein, and protein is made up of amino acids. And so we're going to talk a little bit more about amino acids coming up. But when you break it down, go back real quick, Chris. I love you. Muscle is the engine of our metabolism. And so as we build our muscle, we are building our metabolism. And there's only a couple ways to build your muscle. You want to have weight resistance training, of course, everybody knows that. Go to the gym, pump some iron. But how you fuel your body, the quality of fuel that goes in, that actually determines how your body takes what you did at the gym and makes muscle out of it.
Mhm.
It's huge. I had a client the other day say, "Boy, I've been working out for a year and I just feel like I haven't gotten anywhere. I should be farther along than I am." And I said, "Listen, you're fueling correctly now. Like you are creating the environment for your muscles to grow to actually utilize that workout that you're doing." It's huge.
Smiling to say 8 pounds of muscle in the last 12 months. For someone who's 72, that's so dang exciting.
That's amazing, Dave,
Isn't that
honestly.
amazing? Yeah,
Yes,
so, and it's the muscle that helps us be mobile. And as you get older, that becomes increasingly critical. When you start getting 72 and older, sometimes if we're losing our muscle, we lose our balance, we fall, we break a hip, all kinds of crazy things can happen. And we have, Amber, you've coached with people that are what we would call skinny fat. They're at an ideal weight, but the relationship between their muscle mass and their fat is not in a good balance. So
definitely.
what we want to do is help protect what you have and help you build even more. Because the more you have, the more efficient your body runs. Actually, more calories you can actually eat and still be okay when you're at
100%.
maintenance, right?
Yeah. Even your body can process more sugar too when you have more muscle on your body. But let's talk about muscle protein synthesis because our body, it can't make essential amino acids. Essential amino acids must be consumed. Okay, so when we say try to eat 30 grams of protein and in a 15-minute window, I tell my clients this and they're like, okay, I'll just trust you. But how about we go over why? Like why we say that? It's because 30 grams of protein pretty typically has enough of the essential amino acids and the branched chain amino acids, all that stuff that makes up the protein. It has the right amount to really start creating that muscle protein synthesis. But I'm going to break it down. I'm going to get, nerdy with you. So, protein contains essential amino acids, and within that, of the 9 essential amino acids, some of them are branched chain amino acids, BCAAs. Okay, so that's the portion of the amino acids that like unlocks the cell. And the amount matters and the ratio matters. So the ratio, you want a 4-1-1 ratio. The 4 is the leucine, the 1 is isoleucine, and the other one is valine. So if you go back to 5th grade math, you want to have those ratios correct within your product. And then even breaking that down more out of that BCAA, the leucine specifically is key. You must have at least 2.5 to 3.5 grams of that leucine, that specific portion of it. And, you know, you also have to have all 8. Well, there's 9, like technically, but tryptophan is the ninth and it's in everything. So there's no need to like add extra of that. But you have to have all 8 so that it really like powers it. It says, "Hey, time to make muscle." And
Yeah.
so here's a little nutrition facts on our essential amino acid product. We have 3,500 milligrams, that's 3.5 grams of leucine. We have 1,000 milligrams of valine, 800 milligrams of isoleucine. So we actually over formulate. It's even better than just like the minimums with the 4-1-1 ratio. And we have the right amount of that leucine. So even if you like underscoop a little, you're going to be getting everything that you need.
Yeah.
And then all 8. So you see there's a little box around all 8 of those essential amino acids. Now, I always say when you're reading labels, because I've done this, you guys, it's hard. I've gone into a GNC and like, because I forgot my essential amino acids on a vacation, and I do not go anywhere without my EAAs. And so we went into a GNC and we're looking at all the labels and okay, we got to get 3,500 milligrams of leucine. Let's try to get the ratio. Do they have all 8? Half of them won't even list what's in there. They say proprietary blend. If it says proprietary blend, that's code. And you know what the code is?
Mhm.
We don't want to tell you what's in it because we're embarrassed. It's not, doesn't have enough. We ended up like buying 2 different ones and we had to take both of them. And it was twice as expensive as our EAAs from Optavia. And so I don't know if that helps, Dave. Just a little science for you.
I love this. Is go back to the car for a minute if we can. I've got an old car that's a manual fuel injection, and it has to be really fine-tuned carefully to get just the right amount of fluid and air combined going into the piston to have it fire properly or it won't work. Now, we can have somebody help tune that for you so it actually happens. You can have a coach help you 4-1-1 so that the amino acids you're taking actually fire the cell, open the door, go through and build the muscle. If you miss one of those pieces, it's like an untuned fuel injection. It doesn't get in and the engine doesn't fire and it doesn't run smoothly and it backfires and it doesn't have its full power. That's the beautiful thing as you get under the engine of the Optavia products, the AAs. All you need to know is perfect blend, more than the minimum, right at the maximum. In case you underscoop, you'll always have a protein muscle synthesis event if you'll take it and drink it in 15 minutes. It'll open the door, it'll go through and build the muscles. You just know that's going to happen. That's why, well, this feels good. I like the taste. I have great muscle recovery. There's a reason why. Because this fuel injector is firing perfectly with everything that you need. Yeah.
I love it. And if this seemed like a lot, a lot, join up with our metabolic reset project coming up January 1st. Amy, why don't you tell us a little bit about it? But I'm just going to say this, it breaks down like some of the stuff we just went on And it like has a little bit each day and it teaches you just a little bit each day. And that's really a great way to learn.
I love that. In the chat here, though, I have to call this out because Lori said her 85-year-old dad takes the EAAs daily because it's for everybody, right? It's not just for people in the gym trying to build muscle, it's for everybody for long-term longevity, health, and metabolic health, as you guys keep doing that. So very good tonight, you guys. I'm going to go back and listen to this because there are so many key points in there that I wasn't able to write it all down. But so starting January 1st, you guys, is our metabolic project, reset project. And right now, though, it's out there. I want you to go in. There's a quiz to take and to share it with other people. It's an amazing quiz that you can just go in and be like, I'm not really sure if I have metabolic dysfunction or any of those things happening. And the quiz will pop up. There should be a link in here. If not, you can talk to your coach and they will have a link to share with you. And I just did the quiz a couple days ago, and it's pretty amazing, you guys. And it really does take you through the different steps. There is a project timeline that you can see on here. You can take a screenshot, but your coach is going to know all these things. Also, there's registration has already opened on the 20th. January 1st is the kickoff to the project kickoff, and it's a 28-day metabolic reset, and it's going to be super fun. There's so many things happening. There's already groups forming and doing those things. And next Monday, Craig is going to talk about that. He's going to kick us off. He's going to get us ready, and we're going to be on Let's Talk. We're going to talk all about that 2026 and doing the metabolic reset. I really thank you guys tonight. Have a beautiful week celebrating what you guys celebrate. And we will be connecting next Monday at this time at Let's Talk, and we will be seeing you soon.